On the scaffold, the high priest reads out the sentence of a certain Abela, condemning her to death. The crowd below seems to be waiting for just that. Not a shred of sympathy. The general hatred for this sinful princess literally hangs in the air. And here is the main character of the original story, Lefea, sadly watching the execution of her only blood relative. Next to her is her beloved. It seems that everything is fine with them, unlike the one who is about to lose her head. The blade slowly rises, making the heart freeze in anticipation, and then falls sharply downward. The end of the story for one and a happy beginning for another. In order not to see this horror, Lefea turns away and buries her face in her beloved's chest. It's very convenient to have a strong male shoulder to lean on so you don't have to watch a family feud with a fatal outcome. Blood stains the wooden platform bright red, a grim sight ending the life of the evil princess. That evil villain is finally dead. Such thoughts float through the mind of the girl reading this story. Yes, it was all just the plot of a book. And here is our reader, Miss Xiao Yao, in a hospital room. The nurse informs her that it is time for surgery. The atmosphere is tense. The girl calmly closes the book. She looks peaceful, but there is anxiety in the air. The book, by the way, is called The Princess's Biography. With hope in her voice, she asks the nurse if she will be able to finish reading the last chapter after the operation. Optimism is, of course, a good thing, but the hospital walls inspire other thoughts. The nurse smiles encouragingly, assuring her that everything will be fine. Although her smile looks a little forced, as if she herself does not really believe it. It's just an operation, Xiao Yao thinks as she is wheeled away. But outside the operating room doors, her parents are beside themselves with anxiety. Under anesthesia, she tries to convince herself that nothing bad will happen. It's her last thought before she finally loses consciousness. And then the girl's consciousness is transported to another world. She has become Princess Abela, who has no magic, which in this world is equivalent to a death sentence. She is called the shame of the empire. People look at her with contempt and hatred, not the best starting position to say the least. Suddenly she wakes up. It was all just a dream, but wait a minute. She looks around and realizes that she is not at home or in the hospital. Luxurious apartments. Her first thought is, could the operation have been so successful that she was given a VIP room? Has the hospital been renovated so lavishly? Flashes through her mind. The girl sits on a huge bed and everything around her glitters and sparkles. It seems that the insurance covered not only the operation but also the move to Versailles. She looks at her hands, small, plump, completely childlike. These are definitely not her hands. Shock, the realization that this is her new body hits her like a bucket of cold water. She is now a child with pink hair. Maids rush into the room, panicking that her highness has fallen and hurt herself. There is a great commotion. One of the maids, called Near, breathes a sigh of relief when she sees that the princess is all right. And our heroine is puzzled. Who is Near? Sir Tamir Near, the maid mumbles, afraid of something. The princess tries to understand who exactly this sir was not supposed to recognize. Who am I? The girl asks in panic, completely confused. It seems that amnesia is a standard option for reincarnation. The maid replies with surprise but respect that she is the only princess of the Reincarnation Empire, Her Highness Abela. Tamir Near, the Reincarnation Empire, Abela. All these names spin around in her head, causing a vague feeling of déjà vu. And then it dawns on her. These are the names from the very book she was reading before the operation, The Princess's Development. I was reborn. Her shocking guess is confirmed. She looks at her reflection in her thoughts, comparing her child self with her adult self. She decides to check. My name is Abela, princess of the Reincarnation Empire, right? The maid confirms fearfully, yes, everything fits. Reflecting on the situation, she comes to the conclusion that this is indeed reincarnation, and she is now Abela. Pages from the book come to mind. Abela was a useless princess, the shame of the empire. In a world where magic decides everything, she didn't have a drop of magical power. This made her an outcast from birth. Having lost her right to the throne, Abela became arrogant and despotic. In the book, she was portrayed as a little tyrant who bullied her maid. She was constantly jealous of the main character and hated her, which led to her tragic end. Ultimately, in the struggle for power, she decided on a desperate measure: to use poison. She killed her own father, and with this act she destroyed her life, ending it on the guillotine. And I had to be reborn as this villain with a tragic ending? The realization of the horror of the situation makes her scream. The maids are in a panic. A maid with an angelic face and a halo above her head prays that Her Highness's mind will not be damaged by the fever. Apparently, the princess had been behaving strangely even before this. Abela notices how afraid the maid is of her and cannot understand why. She is just a child. Suddenly, she feels someone's gaze on her. She looks up and sees a man. Could it be her father? The very same king from the novel, Emperor Vladov. He became the youngest emperor in the history of Reincarnation, inheriting the throne at the age of 19. From a young age, he led armies, conquering new lands. In just 10 years, he doubled the empire's territory. A careerist, what can you say? Under his rule, the empire prospered. But behind this success lurked a monster with a face as beautiful as a god. Just one glance from him makes Abela afraid. This man frightens her to the depths of her soul. The emperor coldly asks what happened. The maid trembles as she tries to explain. She mumbles that it is her fault, but the emperor interrupts her, asking where the night guard was. The maid is confused. "Sir Laron," she begins. "Answer me." His voice sounds like an icy command that sends shivers down her spine. The maid falls to her knees, explaining in horror that Sir Laron had previously upset the princess and is now probably recovering from his injuries. Apparently, upset is a euphemism for beaten up. The maid thinks to herself that although the princess has a terrible temper, His Majesty the Emperor is even more frightening. The Addams family at its best. Abela remembers that in the book, the princess also had a disgusting personality. Memories of how the original Abela bullied servants and knights come to mind. Now it's clear why everyone is afraid of her. The emperor's frightening gaze, he's looking right at her. It's over, she thinks, they'll beat me instead of the original. But instead of anger, the emperor suddenly softens and asks if she is hurt anywhere. His voice is full of tenderness. He turns to the knight and says coldly, "A mere hostage dares to anger the princess. Bring Laron here," he orders. His eyes are like steel. This change of mood frightens Abela. In a second, he turns from a caring father into a ruthless tyrant. Suddenly, a magician appears and begins to perform some kind of ritual, asking the princess not to move. Abela senses a mysterious energy emanating from him. It turns out that all this was caused by a precious stone on the mage's staff. "Her Highness is fine," the mage reports. The emperor lets him go. "The main thing is that you are fine," the emperor says with relief, and his face becomes kind again. In the book, Aratala, that was the emperor's name, was described as a cold-blooded despot standing on a mountain of skulls. But now, looking at him, Abela thinks that he is not so scary after all. At that moment, the guards bring in a beaten boy. It is Laron himself. He is roughly pushed to his knees. "Raise your head," the emperor orders. The boy's gaze meets Abela's. There is a strange emotion in his eyes. This is Vidi Yale, Prince of the Kingdom of Selenli. Because of his red and black eyes, he was considered unlucky and was sent away as a hostage at the age of 10. He was humiliated by being made a bodyguard, and at the age of 12, he was sent home for insulting Ophelia, Abel's original name. He was just a minor character who appeared in a few chapters to show the cruelty of the world. But that look, there was something special about it. "Who gave you permission to look at the princess?" The emperor's voice interrupts her thoughts. He humiliates Vidi, calling him a prisoner from a pathetic country who dares to look at his daughter like that. The emperor approaches the young man menacingly. "It seems your father did not tell you what happens to those who displease me." The air around them thickens. "As a bodyguard, you failed to protect the princess," the emperor continues. "Atone for your guilt with your life," he pronounces his sentence. But that doesn't seem enough for him. Perhaps shedding the blood of every inhabitant of the kingdom of Selenli would be more appropriate, he concludes with a devilish smile. Abela is horrified. One glance and an entire country is threatened with destruction. The boy did nothing wrong, but he couldn't resist. And because of this, an entire people is sentenced to death. No one dares to contradict the emperor. Everyone fears for their lives. What kind of world is this? Abela thinks, watching this scene of absolute tyranny. There is no peace and no human rights here. only the will of one ruler. No one opposes the monarch's tyranny. If he dies because of it, if a war breaks out because of it. She clenches her fists, making a decision. Wouldn't I be just as cowardly as all of them? That's not true, she shouts, making everyone turn around. I was careless, the little girl declares confidently. He had nothing to do with it. She runs up to her father and defends Vidi. Vidi looks at her in complete bewilderment. She is helping him. Only a month has passed, and she is beginning to get used to the idea of her new life. It took her time to accept her transmigration, but now she sees it as a gift from the gods. She spent her entire past life in hospitals, weak and sick. Now she is finally healthy and can live a full life. Her body feels so light, she smiles happily. The princess's life turned out to be more ordinary than she had imagined. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, except for that one day. Even a month later, the memory of the emperor's expression makes her tremble. Fortunately, after that incident, the emperor never brought up the subject again. She still can't believe she dared to contradict the despot in front of everyone. Such an act could have cost her this new life. She notices that Vidi is looking at her and decides to talk to him. "What is it, Mr. Bodyguard?" She smiles warmly, beaming like a Christmas tree. Is this a new method of torture? Thinks Vidi, unaccustomed to such kindness. From his point of view, she is a little demon with a bat. No wonder he is afraid of her. But he is willing to endure anything if it brings peace to his people. He is willing to die. What a dramatic guy. Abela sees his tense face and realizes that he thinks something wrong about her. "I'm definitely not who you think I am," she screams mentally. Observing the staff, she comes to the conclusion that the original princess's character was even worse than described in the book. Almost none of the palace staff dare to talk to her. Everyone scatters when she appears. Even her maids is scared to death of her. Well, the original owner of this body was a real little devil, she sighs. If so, she needs to start with the people closest to her. Vidi, seeing her approach, tenses up. Here we go again. "Please stand up," she asks gently, extending her hand to him. She is determined to change everyone's opinion of Ophelia. She will no longer be like her. "I swear by my name as princess of this empire," she declares solemnly. What kind of trick is this? Vidi still doesn't trust her. The awkward moment drags on. She hopes that her impassioned speech will at least count as an attempt at reconciliation. It turned out to be somewhat awkward. She made a vow, but in response she received only a suspicious look. Just then, someone's stern voice breaks the awkward silence. The stranger reprimands Vidi for her inappropriate behavior in front of the princess. It seems that there is a supervisor on every corner in this palace. The maid seems delighted. It's Lord Near. Our heroine immediately remembers this name from the book. So this is what he looks like, the faithful dog of the original Villainess. In the original story, he was the only one who remained on Ophelia's side until the very end. Absolutely devoted, ready to carry out any of her orders, even the most insane ones. A knight in the service of darkness. Only darkness is a capricious girl. Moreover, in the end, he even sacrificed his life for her. That's the level of devotion or obsession. It depends on how you look at it. And then these two meet each other's gaze. The tension in the air is palpable, and our heroine finds herself right in the line of fire. How awkward. Near reverently announces that he has returned. His gaze is so full of dog-like devotion that it makes her feel a little uncomfortable. Meanwhile, Abela studies the document about her newfound sister, the emperor's illegitimate daughter. So she's my sister? A thought that is both frightening and intriguing. Family dramas of truly royal proportions are looming. She is the main character of this story, the one around whom the whole world will revolve. Emiliana Lavoisier, a name that will soon turn Abela's life upside down. Rumor has it that the emperor had an affair with the daughter of a wealthy merchant in his youth, and Emiliana is the fruit of that love. But soon after her birth, misfortune befell the merchant's family and they were killed. The little princess Emiliana disappeared. She led a miserable life far from home, raised as a simple peasant girl, a classic of the genre. But even in poverty, she retained all the qualities of the emperor's daughter. She was smart, beautiful, and a member of the Komsomol. Once she arrived at the palace, Emiliana quickly became everyone's favorite. Even the emperor's icy heart melted from her warmth and tenderness. She was her father's daughter, in a word. Everyone loved Emiliana. Everyone except one person, guess who? In stories like this, secondary female characters usually have two roles, either to help the heroine or to hinder her. Most often, of course, to hinder her, and as a rule, very unsuccessfully. And among these disposable characters, the main antagonist was Ophelia, in whose body our heroine now lives. Jackpot. She was supposed to be the only princess sitting on the throne next to her father. But with the appearance of the heroine, everything went awry. One is a gentle, kind princess, capable of winning anyone's love. The other is a stubborn and arrogant villain. It's not hard to guess how it all ended. Even the commoners rejected the cunning witch. What a tragic ending! Our heroine is horrified by her future fate. In the original, Ophelia simply created problems for the heroine, jealous of her father. And in the end, she found herself on the road leading straight to the scaffold. As long as I don't touch the heroine, everything should be fine, she decides, looking at her sister's portrait. The plan is as simple as can be. From Niera's point of view, the princess is worried about something right now. Deciding to act preemptively, she asks Nier with the most innocent look on her face when she will be able to see her little sister. Hope sparkles in her eyes, and angel wings are probably already growing behind her back. Nier is shocked by the question. He asks her to repeat herself, and she does so, maintaining her angelic expression. Her Highness isn't angry. He can't believe his ears. Why would she be angry? She replies, continuing to play the role of the sweetheart. She declares that she and her sister will definitely get along. And who would dare be angry with the heroine? She thinks to herself. This time I just want to live happily ever after. Nier is still in shock. Get along? That word was clearly not in his vocabulary when describing the princess's relationship with anyone. But he quickly pulls himself together. With a dark aura around him, he assures her that he understands her highness perfectly. It seems he took everything too literally. What kind of expression is that? Abela panics. I didn't mean for you to hurt her. She screams mentally, realizing that her loyal assistant is ready to eliminate the problem. Nier even offers to take action. This guy is too proactive. As expected, his character is exactly like the original. Abela thinks, imagining what action he might take. Poison, drowning, falling from a building, all for Ophelia. But as touching as it may be, quarreling with the main character is a sure way to the afterlife. If your highness has no plan, then, Nier begins. Plan? What plan? She is completely baffled. Why are they all so worried? Doesn't anyone believe in sisterly love? Vidi, standing nearby, chuckles quietly. Please tell me, she asks, but he just shakes his head. You really don't know what will happen, do you? He asks seriously. He reminds her that she is the emperor's daughter, and from birth, she has had the responsibilities of a member of the royal family. If a royal child is not capable of surpassing others, then she asks Nier to let him finish. Nier immediately rushes to defend her, assuring her that he won't let anything bad happen. But Vidi continues, if a royal child is incapable of surpassing others, then that child will suffer the same fate as me. These words strike Abela, a fate like his. She remembers that Vidi did nothing wrong. He was considered a curse only because of the color of his hair and eyes, stripped of his status and exiled. All for one ridiculous reason. And if even a prince can face such injustice, what awaits her? The shame of the empire. A princess without magic. Nier tries to calm her down again, swearing that he won't let anything like that happen. He looks so determined that she calms down for a second. Vidi notices that this isn't necessarily going to happen, and he's just preparing in advance. Preparing, Abela doesn't understand. But this is clearly not the preparation she had in mind. It wasn't easy to get this healthy body. She thought she would finally be able to live peacefully without restrictions. But in this world where the law is nothing and the will of the ruler is everything, any mistake could cost her her life. It seems that her fate is once again out of her hands. What am I talking about? She suddenly realizes. You can't give up so easily. She remembers how in popular stories about reincarnation, everyone ended up in the bodies of heroines and lived happily ever after. But she was lucky enough to end up in the body of a villain. A tragic character who cannot control her own destiny. The pen in her hand trembles with tension. But my story won't end like that. Her determination returns. She firmly decides to change her tragic fate, waving her plan like a military commander. The maid is horrified. "We're doomed. Her Highness has gone mad." "I'm done," Abela proudly announces, showing off her villain's self-rescue plan. The plan turns out to be so long that she collapses from exhaustion as she unfolds it. But she doesn't lose heart. As long as she has a plan, she has the upper hand. Studying the country's history will take a lot of time and effort. And to become a good princess, you need to study more than just books. The mere thought of it makes her want to give up and go to bed. Her motivation drops to zero. But she can't give up, she has to adapt. She decides to start with the simplest steps of her plan. Knowledge is the most important thing wherever you are. If you start learning now, it's not too late. The book mentioned that the emperor hired teachers for Ophelia. The original Ophelia, of course, was not a diligent student, but our heroine will make up for everything. In addition to lessons with teachers, she needs to study on her own. As Vidi said, she needs to prove her superiority. She must prove that she is better than others. For this, she needs a teacher. Hetty is too soft, she won't do. And Niera has other more specific things to do. There is only one candidate left. She begins the lesson with Vidi, who tells her the story of the Amina Empire. He continues his story while Abela seems to fall asleep. They sit opposite each other, immersed in their studies. Vidi finishes his story while the princess sleeps peacefully. It has been a tiring day. When she wakes up, she thanks him, saying that everything went smoothly today. "I didn't do anything," he replies apathetically. But with his help, she quickly catches up. Not only has she caught up with the program, she has surpassed it. Although Vidi still hasn't thawed, he turned out to be a much more capable teacher than she thought. As for etiquette, Nir hired Lady Kalyan for her, the most refined woman in the entire empire. Now her manners are impeccable. Besides, being a princess is not only about studying and etiquette, but also dancing. At first, she thought princesses just ate and drank all day. How wrong she was. Nir praises her for her diligence in her studies. She happily reports that she has finished all her tasks for the day. Before, due to her illness, she couldn't eat whatever she wanted. But now, she can eat sweets without thinking twice. But this unrestrained gluttony has consequences. She has gained weight. From that day on, by order of Hetty, sweets were banned in her palace. But today, Hetty has prepared a special tea for her. Just for today. "Hetty, you are the kindest woman in the kingdom." Abela hugs her with tears of happiness. Dessert is the best thing in life. Nero and Hetty are touched as they look at their charming princess. She notices that Vidi is looking at her. Maybe he wants to go for a walk, she thinks. He's still a child after all. "Let's go play in the garden," she suggests enthusiastically. She looks imploringly at Nir. "Of course, your highness can do whatever she wants," he says with a smile. She and Vidi are shown out of the door while the princess changes into special clothes for walking. "Your highness, please slow down," Hetty asks, barely keeping up with her. Nir has already prepared everything and offers her highness to fly kites. "That would be wonderful," she rejoices. "Look, my kite is higher than everyone else's," she shouts, proud of her success. Her highness is so skilled. Nir and Hetty admire. "I am so skilled," she thinks to herself with pride. "So this is what it's like to fly a kite. It's so much fun." Suddenly, she notices someone overtaking her. He dares to surpass her highness. A dangerous glint flashes in Nir's eyes. He is ready to teach the insolent boy a lesson, but Abela stops him. She giggles, thinking that Nir, who seemed so apathetic in the novel, is actually very cute. "In that case, I need to take this more seriously," she decides, joining the competition. Suddenly, her kite string breaks. Hetty offers to go after the snake, but Abela decides to do it herself. She runs enthusiastically after her escaped snake. There it is, it's caught on the roof of a beautiful gazebo. But there's someone in the gazebo. This palace was built by the emperor for her personal use. No one but her servants, and the emperor himself is allowed to enter. The girl in the gazebo looks like her. It can't be. According to the plot of the novel, she was supposed to meet her at the banquet in 6 months. Why is she here so early? "I'm not ready yet," Abela panics. Running away is the best strategy. She tries to slip away unnoticed but steps on a branch. The girl turns around. Her golden hair shines like rays of sunshine. Her eyes are exactly like the emperor's. She is his long-lost daughter, Emiliana Lavoisier. Why is she here now? Panic grows. What went wrong? Is something wrong, your highness? Emiliana asks. Everything's fine, I'm just curious how you got here. Abela quickly finds an excuse. Your highness knows who I am. Emiliana asks in surprise. Of course, only members of the imperial family have eyes like ours. Abela replies, trying to sound confident. Emiliana is glad she didn't have to introduce herself. She says the flowers in the garden are delightful, and she has picked the most beautiful ones to make a bouquet. In honor of our first meeting, I would like to give you this bouquet, she says with a smile. I hope you like it. If she weren't a heroine, we could be friends, Abela thinks sadly. You don't like it? Emiliana asks anxiously. You made Her Highness a gift from her own flowers. How exquisite, Miss Emiliana, Abela suddenly interjects, accepting the bouquet with cold politeness. And Vidi is right there. Nier sternly reminds her that this palace was built especially for Her Highness, and no outsiders are allowed to enter. So how did you get in here? His gaze pierces Emiliana. Vidi is also hostile. Why did you trespass on Her Highness's property? I'm sorry, I didn't know this was Her Highness's palace. Emiliana is frightened. She explains that she saw beautiful flowers and wanted to make a gift for the princess. She almost calls the emperor her father but corrects herself in time. His Majesty allowed me to come and go freely, so I thought I could come in here. Emiliana has not yet been officially introduced, so she cannot call the emperor her father. She grew up as a commoner. Thinking about it, I feel sorry for her. Abela muses, remembering all the hardships Emiliana has gone through. Suddenly the emperor himself appears. The emperor, why is he here? Abela is shocked. Your Highness, I've been looking everywhere for you, he says, approaching her. Hetty asks if the princess has found her snake. My snake. She was so shocked by Emiliana's appearance that she completely forgot about it. There's a key scene in the novel where the heroine and the emperor meet, she recalls, preparing for the drama. She waits to see what they will say to each other, how the plot will unfold. Here it comes, it's about to begin. But the emperor addresses not Emiliana but Abela, saying that she should be in the palace studying at this time. Emiliana apologizes guiltily. Take her away, the emperor orders coldly, without even looking at his second daughter. He approaches Abela and gently touches her face. Let's go, he takes her by the hand. From now on, you are forbidden to appear before the princess without my permission, he tells Emiliana. He leads Abela away, leaving a confused Emiliana with the knight. Shortly after their meeting in the garden, Emiliana sent her flowers. I should thank her, shouldn't I? Abela thinks, trying to draw a flower. But why did she do that? I don't understand, she despairs. Soon after, the main event of the novel begins. The ball. During the ball, the emperor will officially introduce Emiliana. People will adore her, and she will become the senior princess of the empire. And Abela will be forgotten. Because of her unwillingness to accept her sister and her jealousy, everyone will hate her. Emiliana appeared earlier than I expected. But that won't stop my plans. She looks at her to-do list. History, relationships, etiquette done, only dancing remains. To survive, she needs to change the image that everyone has of her. She looks for Nier to ask him to teach her to dance. But Lord Nier is busy today. It looks like dancing won't be possible today. Hetty asks if it's something urgent. She explains that she wanted to learn to dance. It seems she'll have to postpone, but Hetty says she has another option. She calls Mr. Bodyguard. So the other option was Vidi. He used to be a prince, so he must know how to dance. And then he was sent here as a hostage and made her bodyguard. Awkward. Your Highness, let's begin, he says. Your Highness, would you do me the honor? With pleasure, she replies, offering him her hand. Dancing in this world is similar to the waltz from her old world, and she was good at the waltz. It seems that dancing won't be a problem. By the way, Vidi is no less handsome than the main character. Why does he shut down after one word? A character like Vidi is either an important secondary character or the final villain. Hetty said that Vidi brings misfortune to his country. Black hair and red eyes. He looks a little like the vampires she read about in her past life. Oh, I'm sorry. She catches herself realizing that she has been daydreaming. At that moment, Nier returns. Vidi turned out to be a capable teacher. Lord Nier has returned, I may go, he says, bowing. The weather is beautiful, I should get some sleep. Suddenly, Nier bursts into her room. What happened? Time, he says, looking at his pocket watch. For what? To begin, he signals and maids enter the room. What are you going to do to me? She cries in panic. From Ophelia's point of view, the maids look like demons ready to drag her to hell. Vidi, save me, she mentally calls for help. Vidi, hearing the noise, tries to break into the room. Excuse me, Your Highness, says Hetty, not letting him in. Later, at some event, a girl in a pink dress says that from a distance she mistook Vidi for someone else. What brought you here? She asks flirtatiously. Thank you for your concern, Your Highness, he replies politely. Do you need anything? My father told me that she begins but immediately corrects herself. Your Highness. I'm sorry. I'll be going, Mr. Vidi, she says and leaves. She seemed to be throwing herself at you, Hetty remarks. Who knows, Vidi shrugs. Is it over now? Abela wonders. She is finally left alone after all the preparations. Your Highness, please bear with us a little longer. Breathe out, the maid asks, tightening the corset. It's all fastened, the maids exhale with relief. Please, enough, I can't take it anymore. Abela begs. One more accessory and she would simply collapse. It seems Her Highness has finished dressing, and Her Highness looks divine, Hetty admires. You flatter me. Hetty suggests asking Mr. Vidi if she doesn't believe it. Am I really beautiful? She asks, posing coquettishly. Nier begins to say that she looks exactly like, but immediately stops himself, saying that it's time for them to go. Like who do I look like? She asks curiously. It doesn't matter, she decides. It's time for the ball. That's what matters most right now. The arrival of Duke Vito is announced. The Duke is as handsome as ever. The ladies greet him. He politely replies that he has not been busy lately. The ladies gossip about the return of the first princess. The first princess asks the Duke, have you not heard, Your Highness? They say she was brought to the palace immediately after the incident, and the second princess has not been seen since. I see, says the Duke thoughtfully. One of the ladies contemptuously says that the second princess is a useless creature. She assumes that the ball is being held in honor of the first princess. What do you think, Your Highness? At that moment the Emperor asks someone, are you ready? The arrival of His Majesty, the Emperor and Her Highness the Princess is announced. As expected, it's what? The lady is shocked. His Majesty, Emperor Aratala, enters the hall, and Her Highness Princess Ophelia. The guests greet them. He really is the greatest emperor in the world. One glance is enough to strike fear into the heart. But he gently tells her not to worry. Is he worried about me? In the novel he was cold-blooded and cruel, but he was always gentle with her. Even at the moment of his death, he never hated Ophelia. How could Ophelia bring herself to kill such a man? I am lucky to have this life, to have the chance to be his daughter. There is one more matter, the Emperor announces from his throne. The crowd whispers about the first princess. Emiliana has been returned. Meanwhile, Abela is bored on the throne, eating pastries. Even as a princess, she was told to sit on the throne and not stick her neck out. Meanwhile, Emiliana's appearance has attracted a lot of attention. She is gentle, friendly, and beautiful. But what about Abela? The impression she makes on people is spoiled, uncontrollable, and cruel. This won't do. Is something wrong? Asks her father. Everything is fine, Father Tilda, she smiles sweetly. We need to counterattack as soon as possible. What happened? Wait, what? Wait for me here, I'll be back soon, says the Emperor, patting her on the head. The perfect time to counterattack. Emiliana is already surrounded by admirers. No wonder she's the heroine. She definitely can't go near the heroine. Emiliana is politely chatting with the other girls. Abela doesn't know if they are avoiding her because she is a princess or because she has no magic. Target acquired, she chooses a group of girls. Ladies, good, she doesn't have time to finish before they recoil from her. In this world, the absence of magic is like an infectious disease. Even as a princess, she is shunned, considering that she lived in a world that rejected her. It's no surprise that the original Ophelia became evil. Well, no big deal. If no one wants to talk to me, I'll just go dancing. Socialization fail. Time for step 2, dancing. First, I need to find the dance partner. She notices Vidi. Vidi, why is he here? Stop. He could be my partner. I think I've been caught, thinks Vidi. Would you do me the honor? She asks, curtsying. The honor is mine, Your Highness, he replies, taking her hand. The ladies in the hall are surprised that the princess dances so well. They remember that she used to be terrible at it. She must have heard about the return of the elder princess and started practicing hard. But the elder princess dances just as skillfully, even though she has only just returned. No wonder the younger one is trying so hard. By the way, she begins. What are you doing here, Vidis? Nier made me come. Why? Flashback, Nier sternly reprimands Vidi, reminding him that his only duty today is to protect Her Highness. He threatens Vidi if he dares to touch her. It seems that Nier is simply upset that he cannot go to the ball himself. It doesn't matter, it's just my duty, Vidi replies. It's your duty to protect me, isn't it? It's good that Vidi is here. The plan is going smoothly. People's opinions of me are already beginning to change. Soon their opinions will change completely. Emiliana's dancing is also magnificent. No wonder she is the heroine. Looking at her, you wouldn't say she grew up among commoners. She was reborn around the same time Emiliana was returned to the palace, which means they both studied dancing for the same amount of time. I'll have to work even harder. Your Highness, you don't need to compare yourself to others, Vidi suddenly says. What's going on? At that moment, Emiliana stumbles and a red-haired guy catches her. Next time Her Highness Emiliana dances, she should be more careful, Vidi remarks coldly. You almost bumped into the princess just now, he adds. The crowd begins to whisper about whether Emiliana fell on purpose. How clumsy, and you call that dancing, they sneer. Are you okay, little sister? Abela reaches out her hand to Emiliana. It must hurt to fall like that. Your Highness, there's no need to pretend. If you hadn't moved away, Her Highness wouldn't have fallen. The redhead interjects. What are these accusations? If I hadn't moved away, I would have fallen myself, she thinks indignantly. The guests are perplexed. The emperor is announced. What happened, he asks. Vidi reports that Emiliana almost caused Ophelia to fall. Her Highness almost knocked Emiliana down herself, shouts the redhead. Master of shifting blame, if I hadn't been involved myself, I would have believed him. The emperor asks Emiliana if that's how it happened. I was just careless, it has nothing to do with my sister, she replies, lowering her eyes. So now you're playing innocent? Abela is angry. Father definitely won't believe her. If you can't dance, don't dance, the emperor says coldly to Emiliana. There's no need to continue this ball. He turns to the redhead. You failed to protect the princess. This is your third failure. Someone come here. I'm fine, Abela tries to intervene. If Vidi hadn't pulled me away in time, I would have fallen. Father, don't punish him, she clings to his cloak. Special move, turn on the charm. Are you really okay? He softens. I'm really fine. In the future, if you don't like these balls, you don't have to attend them. This is the first time anyone has ever said that to her. In her past life, she had to attend boring dinners and pretend to enjoy herself. But here, there are people who are willing to protect her and allow her not to go where she doesn't want to go. I understand, Father Tilda. A happy and harmonious moment. They announce that Duke Vitova is requesting an audience. Do you want to see him? Her father asks. Duke Vitova. In the novel, he emerged victorious. He was the one who put the hero and heroine on the throne. I don't want to get involved with such a complicated person. I understand, she says, and her father strokes her head. The emperor refuses the duke, saying that the princess is not feeling well. The duke is asked to leave. The duke's assistant sarcastically remarks that His Highness understands everything. Since Her Highness is unwell, we will visit her another day, says the duke. A few days later, what? Her father thinks she likes to socialize and has arranged a tea party for her. God, why? Maybe it's because I said. Flashback, she is sitting next to her father. I love making new friends, I get along well with others, she chirps cheerfully. I just said I love making friends, she sobs. Nier says that His Majesty meant well, and that new friends can be useful. You're right, she suddenly realizes. This is her chance to change everyone's opinion of her. At the ball, her father took her away too early, and she didn't have time to finish her plan. This time I'll definitely win. Your Highness, please slow down, Vidi shouts. I finally got out, she rejoices. It's a good thing she has to prepare gifts for tea. Otherwise, her father wouldn't have let her go. Memory, the guests have arrived, and she doesn't want to let her father go. I don't think I can go with you, he says, stroking her head. So there are people who can take her father away from her. HMPH, it doesn't matter who they are, it's none of my business. Your Highness, please take a look at this, Nier calls to her. What is it? A beautiful necklace, a great gift for tea time. We'll take everything, Nier declares heroically. Wait, everything. We'll take this too. The merchants at the market eagerly offer their wares. Nier reassures her, saying that he has already ordered everything to be delivered to the palace. Vidi also says that he gave the same order. I wanted to see and choose the gifts myself, not have you choose for me, she shouts and runs away. She runs away from her overly caring companions. Finally escaped. Are you okay? Someone hands her a handkerchief. An incredibly handsome young man is standing in front of her. How can such beautiful people exist? Vidi, Nier, and her father are also beautiful. But none of them are like this. What's wrong? He asks. Divine, like an angel from a fairy tale. She stands frozen, enchanted. I'm fine, thank you. He is glad to hear that. She notices his striking resemblance to the male protagonist from the book the guy from the temple. Could it be him? She thanks him for the handkerchief and promises to return it after washing it. Very well. This is my home. If you need anything, come in. There is a sign on the door that says fortune-telling room. He says that he is, strictly speaking, an astrologer. He observed the stars, but he also knows something about fortune-telling. What is this mystical feeling? He invites her in if she's curious. She hesitates but agrees. She apologizes for the intrusion. He says that there is usually no one here. She is surprised that he lives alone in such a big house. He notices that he still does not know her name. Please have a seat. My name is Ophelia. She is nervous. Suddenly, the crystal ball he picked up cracks and shatters. Does this mean I'm going to fail? This is definitely a bad sign. He's going to announce that I'm going to be executed, right? Interesting, he says. What do you mean, interesting? I'm going to die. A very powerful restriction has been placed on you. What do you mean? The ball broke because the person who placed the restriction did not allow him to read her fate. Who could have done this? Why? I don't know. Perhaps to protect you. Protect me. Or maybe something else, I don't know. She just wanted to have some fun, but she found out that she had some kind of spell on her. What is it? He asks. The spell cast on you. Very familiar to me. Oh really? She panics. Help someone. Take your dirty hands off her. An angry voice booms. It's Vidi. How did you find me? She is glad to see him. He apologizes for not protecting her properly. No, I ran away. If she hadn't run away, she wouldn't have met this charlatan. Who are you? Asks the astrologer. I'm just a humble astrologer in this shop. He replies innocently. Please Vidi see through his humble act. But Vidi politely apologizes for the disturbance and thanks him for caring for his mistress. He says it's time for them to go home. The astrologer notices that the incident has greatly upset her. As an apology, he offers her a necklace that brings good luck. She refuses, but he insists. Vidi whispers that it's time to go. Oh, but you'll need it, says the astrologer mysteriously. Vidi looks gloomy. He blames himself for not being able to protect her. She reassures him that everything is fine. He showed up just in time. The astrologer's words about the restriction come to her mind. What is this restriction? Nier appears, concerned about her disappearance. She says everything is fine and apologizes for the concern. It's time to return to the palace. She wants to ask Nier if he knows anything about the spell, but decides it can wait. And we just bought all the gifts, let's go back. Strange. Why does she feel a little lost? Ah, what an exhausting day. Gifts, snacks, new decorations. Everything is almost ready for tea. I hope everything goes smoothly tomorrow. At night, a mysterious woman appears in her room. Who are you? Invading the princess's bedroom in the middle of the night is a sure way to get yourself killed. She managed to get past the guards. She's definitely not an ordinary person. Could she be an assassin? Who are you? She repeats. Nier knocks on the door. He was passing by and heard her voice. The woman has disappeared. Did you have a nightmare? Nier asks. I'm fine, go back to sleep. He decides to stay and guard her door. But this may not happen again. Hedy scolds her for not sleeping well before an important event. It's all because of that mysterious woman. She stayed up all night wondering who she was. Nier also stayed up all night, guarding her. But how come he doesn't have bags under his eyes? They report that everything is ready for the party, so soon. What happened here? Everything she did at the ball was in vain. No one came to her tea party. I'm sorry I'm late. One girl did come after all. May I sit next to you? Aren't you afraid of me? Abela wonders. Everyone says she's spoiled, arrogant, and bossy. Well, is that true? No, then no problem. But I don't have any magic. In a world like this, that's a big problem. What's wrong with that? The girl asks. Suddenly, another guest stumbles, and Abela asks Hedy to take care of her. The girl apologizes for ruining the tea party. It's okay, the main thing is that you're not hurt. Thank you, Your Highness. Her friend urges her to ask a question. Go on, it's a simple question. The girl thanks her for the book. The main thing is that you liked it. Have you read this book before, Your Highness? She asks, showing her the book Sophia Ethics. She is surprised that the princess reads such difficult books. Don't say that, Abela panics. She is ashamed to admit that she hasn't read it yet. Another guest stands up for her, saying that the princess is only 12. Sophia's Ethics is a very difficult book. even for older people. Everyone is defending me. The girl apologizes. It's okay, I'm just not very well read. Phew, I dodged that one. Thank you, Your Highness, for your forgiveness. Your Highness is so kind. If I may ask, what book are you reading now? Why do they keep asking about books? This girl must be a bookworm. Another guest says that her sister is already reading The Life of Iwadi. The Life of Iwadis. You're reading it too, aren't you, Your Highness? Kill me, this is the end of my social life. She only studied etiquette. She hasn't read any of these books. Should she tell the truth? But then they would definitely think she was a useless princess. Everyone around her is discussing how smart she must be. But if she lies, how can she change their opinion of her? She has to be honest. Actually, Her Highness has already reached the last volume of the Phenomenology of Lust. Emiliana suddenly interjects. My teacher once confessed to me that Her Highness is the most brilliant student he has ever taught. Everyone is delighted with the princess's intellect. Why is she helping me? Another girl asks Emiliana if she has also reached the last volume. Emiliana modestly replies that she is slow and has only reached the thoughts of Kiva. Everyone admires her achievements. Emiliana says that it took her 2 months to study the thoughts of Kiva. Her Highness would only need half that time, she says, looking at Abela. If I could do it, it would only be with your help, Abela replies shyly. The girls begin to discuss complex philosophical works and Emiliana keeps up with the conversation, sometimes answering for Abela. Hillen Valisi, Abela doesn't understand a word. She reports to Nier. She got too carried away with etiquette and dancing and forgot that real princesses need something more. Emiliana, who grew up outside the palace, freely discussed complex topics, while Abela could only watch in silence. In her past life, she always let others lead the conversation. But now that can't happen anymore. She orders Nier to bring her all the books, from beginner to advanced levels. Nier is worried that some of the books may be too difficult for her. I need to do this to become a real princess, she declares resolutely. Nier immediately runs off to carry out the order. To become a real princess and shed the label of useless, she must learn everything a princess should know. She needs to exceed even her original plan. Only then will she be able to fully integrate into this world and take her destiny into her own hands. It's time to go, says Nier. Time has passed. Ophelia is turning 14. The ladies at court discuss how diligently the princess has been studying lately. The arrival of the emperor is announced. The arrival of Princess Ophelia, and the arrival of Her Highness Emiliana. The guests greet the imperial family. The emperor announces the start of the celebration in honor of Ophelia's 14th birthday. He tells her to go and have fun. I will do as you say, father. Emiliana promises to look after her younger sister. The guests congratulate Ophelia and give her gifts. She thanks everyone and says she can't wait to open them. The children surround her, eagerly offering their gifts. Emiliana suggests they dance together, as they had agreed. Duke Vitova watches them with interest. The guests are surprised to see the princesses dancing together. Ophelia thinks that at least 6 people wanted to ask her to dance. Emiliana says she was shocked when Ophelia asked her for the first dance. This move not only disrupted the suitors' plans, but also helped her politely decline them. Since Emiliana helped her at the tea party, they have become much closer. Emiliana turned out to be much smarter than she thought. Perhaps because of her past life, she never refuses requests. That's why she agreed to dance, even though the offer was made in jest. Duke Vitova approaches them, admiring their dance. He introduces himself. Lavoisier, Abela is surprised. Emiliana greets him politely. Duke Vitova, Abela is shocked. He is flattered. Vitova Lavoisier, the emperor's younger brother. In the novel, he helped the hero and heroine many times. He was the one who discovered that Ophelia was planning to poison the emperor and ordered her execution. I hope he doesn't send me to the scaffold again. He asks if she is all right. He notes that they haven't seen each other in a long time. She explains that she has been busy studying. She recalls that it was the Duke who brought Emiliana to the palace. Emiliana thanks him for the book but says that it is too difficult for her at the moment. He replies that she can take her time. Abela senses that there is some hidden meaning between them. The Duke says goodbye, wishing her a happy birthday. He says he has already sent his gift to her chambers. Please go away, talking to you is exhausting. She groans mentally. Finally, it's over. But Nier reminds her that she hasn't opened her gifts yet. She asks for Vidi and Hedi to be called so they can open them together. They begin to unwrap the gifts. This was sent by Duke Vitova, says Nier. It's not from the Luege family. she wonders. Hetty admires the beautiful gemstone. It's a miraculous stone from the church, explains Vidi. Near confirms that it was sent by the Duke. She recalls the Duke's words about the gift. It was him. I wonder why he chose this particular gift. Near recalls that when the Duke brought Emiliana, he did not want any reward except for this stone. Never mind, I don't understand. Just put it in my office for now. There are too many gifts, and writing thank you letters will take forever. She decides to thank only the most important people. Suddenly, she notices a box glowing in her desk. A secret room. Is this some kind of joke? She approaches the wall behind the bookcase, and the pattern seems familiar to her. Inside, she finds books on theology. In this world, people are born with either magical or divine powers. Most of the nobility and the royal family possess strong magical powers. Among commoners, there are also occasional individuals with strong magic or divine power. Those with magic are called sorcerers and battle mages. Those with divine power must undergo training in the church. Almost all of the items in this room are related to theology. What is her connection to the church? She finds a glowing stone. Suddenly, the image of a woman appears before her. My child, it's her. Happy birthday. Strange, why is she crying? Mom, she whispers, feeling an inexplicable sadness. It's just my image child. Don't be sad, since you entered this room, it means you've turned 14. I wish I could have seen it with my own eyes. I think you're curious about what this place is. But first, I have something to tell you. Is something on your mind, Your Highness? Hetty asks. Not at all. She says she's just a little tired. Hetty advises her to rest. If you need me, call me. It's my job and I enjoy doing it. No need to thank me. Sweet dreams. Her mother's voice continues to echo in her head. She was a priestess of Nayana. She sensed both magic and divine power in her unborn daughter. She foresaw her destiny and knew she would not be able to be with her daughter. She left these books and treasures to protect her. Only those who were 14 years old could enter this room. Mom said she sealed my powers to protect me. So Ophelia did have enormous magical power after all. The image of the astrologer talking about the restriction comes to mind. So her mother imposed this restriction on her. Divine power, magical power. Near knocks on the door, asking if she's still asleep. Forget it, I won't think about it for now. Somewhere in the temple, a priest says to someone, don't disappoint my master. I won't disappoint him, replies the young man with blue hair. Over the last few days, she has searched the entire library for a way to remove the restriction. But unfortunately, without success. At dinner, her father asks her what's wrong. She jokes that she just didn't sleep well. Her father announces that tomorrow she and Emiliana are going to the Imperial Academy. So soon, are we already at that point in the story? You have reached the age when it is time to study. He asks them to look after each other. It's time to pack your things. He offers Near's help if she is tired. Near and Hetty gather her things, arguing about what to take. Actually, I don't think all of this is necessary. It is necessary. They argue so sweetly that Abela's heart skips a beat. Vidi, you're my bodyguard, you'll come with me, right? If your highness commands it. Then where is your luggage? This is all I need, he says, pointing to his sword. Does he have no personal belongings at all? This will be your suitcase, Vidi. Near says she doesn't need to take care of it herself. As a princess, I am obliged to take care of those around me. They wait by the carriage. Envoys from the church have arrived to bless them. The envoys from the church have arrived. They enter, dressed in blue hooded cloaks. This is repeated twice, apparently for greater effect. They greet the imperial family. Among them is a young man with blue hair. Everyone bows in prayer. One of the emissaries, a blonde man, addresses the princesses. Have I seen him before? Abela wonders. Emelina greets him respectfully. Abela also bows. It seems so much time has passed that the crown princess has forgotten me, he says with a wounded look. I arrived here at 12. I haven't seen you once in 2 years. How could I have known you existed? She thinks indignantly. The emperor urges them to begin. The blonde man asks the princess to close her eyes. He begins the blessing ritual. Suddenly, Abela feels a strong jolt in her chest. What was that just now? The messenger asks anxiously if she is all right. Vidi offers her a rest. Everything is fine. The Duke suggests that it is due to the low level of magic in her body. The messenger apologizes for his carelessness. Is this what you call a blessing in your temple? the emperor asks in an icy tone. Abela reassures her father that everything is fine. Emilina is also worried about her. The emperor asks if the ceremony is over. Yes, your majesty. Then you may leave. He orders Vidi to protect Princess Ophelia. The messenger offers to send the priest's son with them as an apology. The priest's son. That's the main character, Pangal. He looks so much like that astrologer. My name is Pangal Levaxiu, so he is the main character. I'm doomed. The main character has appeared. My death is near. Very nice, says the emperor. Nice, your beloved daughter will soon die, she sobs. Her father asks if she is upset. She lies, saying she is just sad about the separation. He reassures her, saying that 3 years at the academy will fly by. Exactly, the execution will be after the academy. There's still time. Phew, there's still hope. I know, father. It's time to go. Finally, some peace and quiet. It's a good thing she talked her father out of sending knights with them. Flashback, an entire army of knights with a sign that reads Princess Ophelia's Protection Squad. She didn't want to be surrounded by gawkers as if she were a circus animal. Emiliana guesses that she just didn't want to be constrained by their presence. If they were here, I would have to behave like a princess. But this way I can relax. But we're not alone. Sir Pangal from the temple is here too. By the way, sir, have you heard of the Room of Divination? She tells him that she visited this shop recently. What led your highness to ask such a question? He asks. She says that he looks very much like a man she met there. Really? Emiliana is surprised. There were many descriptions of the main character in the book. As the son of a priest, Pangal was highly respected. In the temple they said he was cold and insensitive, as if he had no feelings at all. Until he met Emiliana. Suddenly he understood what emotions were. Joy, sadness, anger. She was so moved when she read about it in the novel. And the man she met was pure, holy, and gentle, though a little strange. The difference in their characters was enormous. I'm probably thinking too much. The man you're talking about, was he an astrologer? Pangal suddenly asks. How did you know? He says it was just a guess. There are many similar people in the world. Oh yes, I must have been mistaken. Why does she feel that Emiliana and Pangal know each other? Or is it just her imagination? They arrive at the village, the town of Irisida. This is the starting point for the University of Irisida. They ask for 4 rooms at the hotel, but there are only 2 left. Lately, many people have been coming to apply for admission. The hotel owner suggests that they make do with 2 rooms. Emily and she don't mind, but Vidi and Pangal. She's afraid to even imagine it. They didn't fight, did they? Her imagination paints a picture of them fighting over the bed. Was that really the case? Or did they politely give way to each other? It can't be. Both boys notice that she is distracted. She sheepishly admits that she was curious about how they managed with 1 bed. But there were 2 beds, we pushed them apart of course, replies Vidi. What, there wasn't 1 big bed? Pangal explains that there were 2 beds in 1 room and 1 large bed in the other, which they left for the princesses. She asks Emily if she knew about this. Oh, Ophelia, you didn't know, I thought you knew. So she's the only one who didn't know. And I was so worried. Emily offers her some soup with dumplings. It's just soup with dumplings. She's eaten it hundreds of times in her past life. They arrive at the departure platform. There are people everywhere. Irisida University is one of the best on the continent. Will they have to stand in line? Vidi reminds her that there is a special entrance for members of the imperial family. Of course, they have privileges, so this is what it's like to have power and money. A university employee meets them at the entrance. Are we here? Irisida University looks even more impressive than she had imagined. Hicks, where are you from? A rough voice asks. A red-haired guy looks at them with contempt. What are people like you doing here? Emily, do you think he's a student? Definitely not. Pangal says it's time for them to register. Vidi advises them to ignore him. Are you Vidi the Black Omen? The redhead asks Vidi. What did you say? Abela intervenes. Vidi tries to pull her away. Don't you want to hear about the Black Omen? The redhead taunts. What does he mean? He's talking about Sir Vidi, explains Pangal. Speak up, what do you mean? Shouts Abela. I just can't watch him bring you trouble. This guy next to you, he's so unhappy that he killed his own mother. I get it, you're a coward. Abela suddenly declares. She loudly tells Emily that this man is a coward who blames Vidi for the color of his hair and eyes. Let's go, there's nothing to see here. If we spend too much time with him, we might catch his cowardice. What did you say? The redhead is furious. The guards grab him. They tell him that she is the princess of the Leviast Empire. Stop staring, Vidi. Let's go, she says as she leaves. Interesting, Pangal thinks. What is it, Vidi? Your Highness, aren't you afraid? Afraid of what? That I, as a black black-haired harbinger of doom. It will bring you misfortune. Just because of your natural black hair, you consider yourself unlucky. Isn't that so? Emily explains that there are few black-haired people on the continent, so they are considered unlucky. But that's just baseless superstition, adds Panglu. If so, then my past world must be completely unhappy. In the novel, the description of Vidi ends after Ophelia sends him home. Given the prejudices of this world, she is afraid to think what happened to him afterwards. Vidi, bow your head for a moment. She gently strokes his hair. It's okay. These cowards just judge by appearances. She loudly declares that, if anything, the golden-haired Emiliana is the reincarnation of a goddess, and the silver-haired Panglu is an angel on earth. Ophelia, what are you saying? Emily laughs. It's true. Then who does that make you, your highness? Panglu asks. My goddess of good luck. Vidi coughs awkwardly, reminding them that they are late. God, what am I doing? She thinks, embarrassed. Why is her heart beating so fast? Wait for me, Ophelia, Emily shouts. This is how it all began, Panglu thinks with a smile. We have to register here. She approaches the reception desk. She politely thanks the registrar. Vidi calls her over to the table. She asks which academy they have chosen. Pangle and Emiliana have chosen the Magic Academy. She asks Vidi why he didn't choose magic, since the status of a magician is higher. I don't need that kind of powers. Oh yes, his magic is unhappy black. I'll choose night too, since I don't have magic. She submits the completed form. Everyone tries to persuade her to choose the Magic Academy. She explains that she doesn't want Vidi to be alone at the night school. I'll be fine, he says. She sighs. She would feel awkward at the Magic Academy without magic. If I'm at the Magic Academy, no one will dare to hurt you, Ophelia, Emily promises. We're here, says Pangle. Looks like it's time for us to part ways. They agree to meet at the orientation for newcomers. They say goodbye. Room 404, it's her. A girl named Villa greets her in the room. Isn't that the useless princess? She thinks.